Coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios, this is Prime News on SABC 3. Let's take a look at your top stories this evening.
As we bid a final farewell to our Associate Editor of Politics, we want to thank the Madia family for sharing Tshidi with us.
We start off with a view into the funeral of well-known political journalist Tshidi Madia, which was held at the St. Salvador Catholic Church in Germiston.
Our doors remain open to engage with them and to accelerate the process of releasing these vehicles within the ambit of the law. I must emphasize that.
In KZN, thousands of commuters around Durban were left stranded for a third consecutive day after the taxi industry downed their tools. And International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamola says South Africa will continue to push for peace on the African continent to achieve economic development. Your evening news elevated. Welcome to Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumomulete. Let's chart a course through the most significant stories of the day, and here they are. First up, mourners, friends and family assembled at the St. Salvador Catholic Church in Leondale, east of Johannesburg, to pay their last respects to the late political journalist and editor Tshidi Madia. Madia passed away last week following a short illness, a few days after turning 42 years of age. She had been hospitalized for 2 weeks.
Fearless, fierce and truthful. These are the words that best describe Tshidi Madia, according to her colleagues.
Tshidi's contribution to journalism in South Africa will be etched in history. Her laugh, wit, care, and love is burned into our hearts. As we bid a final farewell to our Associate Editor of Politics, we want to thank the Madia family for sharing Tshidi with us.
In friendships, Madia was a glue that held them together.
Friend, thank you so much for the love that you've given me. Thank you so much for the kindness that you've extended not only to me but to the people around you. Thank you for continuing to have been the glue that has kept our friendship together.
Madia's family says they are shattered. Her father, Silas Madia, wrote a heartfelt farewell message that was read by a relative, Tsepo Manyaka.
Our home will never be the same. We already miss your loud voice that brought joy and life into the house. Your booming laughter that warmed every heart, and your generosity that touched us all.
Madia is survived by her father, her 2 siblings, her nieces and nephews, whom she cherished dearly. Puseletso Mokoena, SABC News, Leondale.
Next up, the ongoing taxi strike in and around Durban has seen thousands of commuters left stranded for a third consecutive day after the taxi industry downed their tools. The strike action was initiated by the Kwatabeka and Claremont Taxi Association earlier this week. Today, taxi operations were halted in the eThekwini Metro. The taxi industry is accusing the eThekwini municipality of wrongfully impounding over 20 taxis.
Thousands of commuters in areas under the eThekwini Metro continued to be left stranded from the early hours of the morning. The taxi industry halted operations due to disagreements with the eThekwini Metro. They are accusing Metro Police of targeting them and impounding their vehicles. Some residents say the strike is jeopardizing their livelihood.
I was supposed to be at work as we speak. I have been standing here for hours. This is really having a negative impact to many people who rely on taxis. This problem started earlier this week, but today it is worse because taxis are not operating in and around Durban. This is making life extremely difficult for us. How are we supposed to provide for our families?
An urgent meeting held by the taxi industry and the eThekwini Metro authorities last night failed to resolve the impasse. The municipality has conceded that it is facing a serious backlog in issuing permits. At least 25 taxis were impounded for not having valid permits.
Our doors remain open to engage with them and to accelerate the process of releasing these vehicles within the ambit of the law. I must emphasize that.
eThekwini authorities say no incidents of intimidation were reported by other private operators such as buses and e-hailing services across the city. Efforts to get comment from the taxi industry were unsuccessful. Simpiwe Makanya, SABC News, Durban.
International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamola says South Africa will continue to push for peace on the African continent to achieve economic development. He addressed the Thabo Mbeki Foundation Peace and Security Dialogue in Magaliesburg. Lamola says Pretoria is concerned about the ongoing situation in the eastern DRC as conflict continues.
It's a frank peace and security dialogue to address some intractable conflicts in Africa. South Africa says it's supporting initiatives to achieve peace in the eastern DRC.
The AU, the East Africa and SADC have always been seized with the matter, and we have resolved that there must be engagement with the state and non-state actors, which is a process that is being led by the initiative where President Obasanjo and other 5 facilitators are seized with the matter. So that process is very important for sustainability of the peace process.
The M23 rebel group is also represented here, and it's not pleased that the Congolese government turned down the invitation to be part of the dialogue.
It's dreadful, awful to have another president of the country to deny an invitation for peace.
The Thabo Mbeki Foundation says this is not a negotiating forum, but it's one of the initiatives aimed at achieving peace in Africa.
The idea here is not to have a conversation of big men or big women. It's a conversation of ordinary Africans who are concerned about the state of conflicts in various countries.
Kylie Khumalo, SABC News, Magaliesburg.
Top jurors attending the inaugural J20 summit in South Africa have heard that judicial independence is in the public interest because it allows judicial officers to perform their functions without fear or favor. These inputs formed part of the gathering's first discussion on advancing judicial independence and accountability under the overall theme of justice in a time of change, independence, innovation and cooperation.
A robust engagement filled the 4 walls of the plenary of the inaugural J20 summit in South Africa as top jurors shared inputs on the discussion topic, advancing judicial independence and accountability, preserving the rule of law, and reinforcing judicial security in an evolving global landscape. Justice Leona Turon of South Africa's Constitutional Court emphasized how independence is critical to the rule of law and accountability.
Judicial independence is fundamental to democracy. Judicial independence is critical to upholding the rule of law and the separation of powers, foundations that enable our democracies to thrive while ensuring accountability.
Lady Chief Justice Sue Carr of England and Wales echoed similar sentiments, adding that judicial independence gives the rule of law legitimacy.
Judicial independence is not simply a protective mechanism for judges. It gives the rule of law legitimacy. It is its very fabric.
South Africa's neighboring top judge, Chief Justice Luke Malaba of the Republic of Zimbabwe, highlighted independence as a principle which sees the judiciary existing independently of other arms of state.
We all know that the principle of judicial independence is founded on a proclaimed demand for institutional independence, that the judges, the judiciary must be left alone to do what it knows best.
Kenny Mapanga, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Welcome back. The reconstruction of Parliament is unlikely to be completed by the planned deadline of November 2026. That's according to National Assembly Speaker Thoko Didiza and Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Dean McPherson. The two briefed the Joint Committee on the Financial Management of Parliament.
The aftermath of the January 22 fire. Feasibility studies on the reconstruction process are done and work is underway. The initial date for reconstruction completion was set for February 2026, and the revised date of November 2026 is unlikely to be met.
The reality is that it may be beyond, November 2026, and therefore the question that we must answer is, given the need that members had expressed of having a house, no matter the temporal structure, where they can meet and exercise their responsibility as members, what do we do?
Been for the last year that the targets to complete the parliamentary building were ambitious at best and unrealistic.
The focus now is to ensure that the alternative venue for house sittings is completed by the end of January next year.
We have made provision in our plan for the dome that the dome can be there for 12 months, even up to 18 months, even beyond, should the project be delayed.
If we are to go with the dome, we will be required as Parliament to procure AV and broadcasting equipment at a cost of 68 million. And that equipment will be owned by Parliament.
Ulelani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.
A report from the Competition Commission has found that inflation on essentials is rising faster than wage growth, with low-income households being the hardest hit. The cost of living report covers the period between 2020 and March 2025. The study expands on the original essential food price monitoring report that was launched in 2020 to monitor and track the prices of selected essential food items in the country.
The report has revealed that the price of non-food items like water and electricity have risen above inflation, contributing to workers spending almost 2/3 of monthly earnings on necessities. Economist at the Commission, Andiswa Sibukwana, explains.
In essence, the cost of living report has highlighted key elements. It's basically alluded to the rising economic strain on households. Households have faced deep financial pressure, especially low-income communities. There has been inflation in essential goods, which is outpacing wage growth, therefore reducing purchasing power of consumers. And then the food and alcoholic beverages making over 40% of spending for poorest households, making future inflation particularly harmful.
Commission concerns about food prices, highlighting that essentials take up a larger share of household budgets. It also noted that retail prices went up even when producer costs fell. Meanwhile, the ballooning cost of electricity and water has had a negative impact on households. The Commission noted that minibus taxi fares tended to increase only when there was a major spike in petrol prices, adding they're seldom reversed once petrol prices decrease. At the same time, the cost of funeral policies came in significantly below overall inflation, which it described as encouraging given their importance among low-income households. Nosipho Khatebe, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Thank you for staying with us. The Northwest Government has welcomed the invocation of Section 1397 of the Constitution in the Lichtenburg-based Ditsobutla local municipality. The National Executive now assumes the powers and functions ordinarily exercised by the Provincial Executive. The municipality has been struggling with service delivery for years and was dissolved 3 years ago.
A letter from the national government announcing its intervention in the troubled Ditsobutla local municipality. This will bring a sigh of relief for residents as the national government will now oversee service delivery. Several interventions have been instituted in the past 12 years, including the dissolution of the municipal council in 2022. political instability, maladministration and poor service delivery were among the key concerns.
We thought that maybe we should take a different approach, and it must not be an approach where we send an individual to go and intervene and not looking into other contributory factors. And that is why we called on the national government to say, can we jointly discuss this so that when the national government intervene, at least it look holistically into the kind of intervention that they can make in the Tsobatlan. We are happy about that.
Opposition parties in the national parliament have different views regarding the intervention.
There's a progress. Let's just give them a chance. Remember, they were dissolved. We were here, we deployed here. 20 wards. It was not very easy task to go and campaign. But now, if they found each other and work as different political parties, let us welcome that. So you need a national intervention. But again, I'm saying I do not place much confidence in that process, because it's the flow of corruption. It's a synergy across the ruling party and its partners.
Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velinkosini Hlabisa will meet with both municipal and provincial authorities next week to outline the terms of reference of their intervention. Zebulon Maine, SABC News, Mahikeng.
The Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of Southern Africa says that the 50% US tariffs on South African exports for their industry is putting further strain on the already struggling steel industry in the country. Industry leaders and workers have gathered at the Rand Mutual Assurances Prevention Conference in Durban to discuss ways to improve the employees' wellness and safety in the workplace.
South African businesses are starting to feel the pinch of the US tariffs. The steel industry is already faced with challenges of low production and consumption in the country.
It does affect companies in the metal engineering sector, and as I said, it's not only for the big exporters. It affects everybody, because downstream everybody that supplies into the chain to export a certain product gets affected.
Companies are now trying to secure alternative markets.
Well, we do sell to other countries. We sell to Japan and we sell to Europe. But what our company is doing is something very innovative. We're trying to use our product, and we're changing the product from the metal, because instead of selling our metal into the US industry, we're using the metal to change it into a different process.
Companies affected say they are concerned that looming retrenchments will have a physical and mental effect on workers.
What we are significantly highlighting is, in the chaos that we're finding from a geopolitical perspective, the US tariffs, we can already see companies starting to do retrenchments. Ford is retrenching, Glencore yesterday in the news announced it. So it is a worry for us from a health and safety, because we don't want employees to be additionally stressed.
Londi Khadebe, SABC News, Durban.
World Cup hero Handré Pollard will start at fly half for South Africa in the highly anticipated Rugby Championship encounter against New Zealand at Eden Park in Auckland on Saturday. Pollard retains his place from the starting 15 against Australia, while Jesse Kriel retains the captaincy ahead of Sia Kolisi, who returns to the starting 15 after missing the Wallaby Test.
Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus made 4 changes to the starting 15 that beat the Wallabies in the second test in Cape Town, with Locke Eben Etzebeth moving from the bench to the run-on team. Kolisi starts at number 8, returning from a niggling injury, while Pieter-Steph du Toit has recovered from concussion and is back at flank. The other change is in the back line, where 100 tests veteran Willie Leroux will start. Erasmus says Kolisi's inclusion was a last-minute decision, and at that stage, Kriel was already appointed as captain for the match.
The team we picked is, we think we're going to have to match the pace while bringing the physicality, and we thought they're going to go 5-3 split. So we're trying to, at some stages, pick the team that we think can squeeze a win out against the best team in the world currently.
Both teams will be looking to get rid of unwanted records on Saturday. The Springboks last won at Eden Park in 1937, while the All Blacks are on a 4-test losing streak against the world champions.
No, I'm not trying to underplay it. I just try to say that to say it's the biggest game, it's a bit of a slap of a face to the team that's beaten us already. But no, it's massive. No, it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. It's an honor. It's Ari's 100th Test match.
It will be a blockbuster Saturday morning as Australia take on Argentina at 6:30, followed by the Boks and All Blacks at 9 a.m. South African time. Harry Olivier, SABC News.
From sunshine to sun rays and everything in between, our skies have been the ultimate mood ring lately. Our weather team is on standby with the precise details. Coming up next.
Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. Clear skies over the northern as well as the northeastern parts of the country. However, it will be partly cloudy in places over the Western Cape, Eastern Cape and the extreme southern parts of the Free State as well as the Northern Cape. Now tomorrow, starting off with early morning fog patches over the western, southwestern and along the eastern escarpment. Those fog patches expected to reduce visibility to less than 1 kilometer in places. So please do take caution if you are driving early tomorrow morning and do keep a safe following distance. Otherwise, it will be partly cloudy across most parts of the country, just fine over the northwestern part of the Northern Cape. Isolated showers and rain forecast along the southern coastline and the adjacent interior, while showers and thunder showers are expected over the extreme southeastern part of the Northern Cape into the Free State, KwaZulu-Natal and the central and eastern part of the Eastern Cape. Now, the South African Weather Service is warning of high fire danger conditions in places over the central, eastern and northeastern interior. So please do take caution in those regions and do not cause any unnecessary fires. Overnight temperatures seeing the R down to 10, 13 in Cape Town, 12 in Appington, 11 is your overnight low in Mahikeng, peaking at 31 tomorrow. It will be very hot in Musina with 35, 34 in Phalaborwa, but still a cool day in Port St. John's and Mthatha with a maximum of 24. And then on to Saturday, it will still be cool to warm in places, partly cloudy over the southern central as well as the eastern parts of the country. There is a broad band of isolated showers and rain over the central and eastern parts, mainly scattered along the southeastern coastline in places over the Free State, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, as well as Limpopo. That's your weather. To stay tuned to SABC News.
A news broadcast may be ending, but the pursuit of truth and understanding never ends. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, from myself and the team, stay ahead of the curve. Good night.